Hey there, this is Mike from Mike Buys Houses. This week we were speaking with a homeowner who was inheriting a property that was paid off, and they just kind of wanted to know what kind of things they should look out for, what they should expect, and maybe what kind of actions they should take over the next couple of weeks, as well as what options they have with the property itself. So the first thing that we talked about was that the property may need to go through probate, especially if the estate planning was not done in a way such that the house could automatically transfer titles. So you may not need to go through the probate process if the assets are jointly owned or if the asset is held in a living trust. Um, if the property is not jointly owned and is not held in a living trust, then it's definitely possible that you'll have to go through the probate process. You'll want to check with an attorney in your area who specializes in probate in order to make sure you're doing all the right things for your local municipality. They can be different depending on the area. The house most likely is considered an asset of the estate and therefore may be required to go through the probate process and even may need to be sold in order to potentially pay off other debts of the estate depending on the finances of the estate. So, with that in mind, we kind of talked about what the probate process may entail a little bit, and then we talked about what the options are for a home that you inherit that is paid off completely, or inheriting a house that doesn't have a mortgage. So, here's what we talked about. So, if you wanted to know a little bit more about the probate process, the first thing you're going to want to do is find out if you actually need to go through that process. Again, the best thing to do is reach out to a local attorney in your area. You can also reach out to us. We'll give you a little bit more guidance in a no obligation conversation. We do buy houses and we will offer that service, obviously, but we'll definitely point you in the right direction. So feel free to visit us at MikeBuysHousesPA.com or give us a call at 267-984-4765, and we would love to see how we can help you out. But again, if you are checking with a local attorney in your area, you may want to do it sooner rather than later if you're finding out that you're going to be inheriting a house without a mortgage on it. And this is because sometimes it has to be done quickly. I know there's some states that within 10 days they want this process started. So you're going to begin the process by filing a petition, which basically means that you're just going to notify the local court of the death. Probably going to have to fill out some paperwork and provide a death certificate. After that, it's going to be followed by the hearing on petition, and after that is when the letters of administration will be sent out, which basically makes someone the manager, probably you if you're watching this video, the manager of the estate. And at that time, you may want to look into some municipalities, and some people are required to get a probate bond to protect against any claims. So if you're the manager of the estate and you're doing all this work for the estate, basically this bond protects you in case there's any errors down the line and someone tries to begin a litigation in order to get past debts. This bond will protect you. Again, you're going to want to speak to a local attorney who specializes in probate to see what the common thing is in your municipality. After the letters of administration, the notice to creditors will be sent out, which basically lets all creditors make any claims against the estate, and the inventory of estate will then be done, which basically will require you to provide proof of ownership for all the assets in the estate, and will then kind of begin the process where you can tally up what the finances of the estate really look like as to whether or not you're going to have to sell the house that you inherit without a mortgage in order to pay off these other debts, or if you're able to keep the property because there aren't other debts that need to be paid. After this, during the probate process, the next step will be to pay estate taxes if they apply. So you'll have to file personal and business tax returns for the estate to determine if anything's owed at that time. And finally, there will be the final distribution, final petition for distribution, which will allow any creditors or debtors to make final claims. And then at that point, ownership can officially be transferred, and you can finally make the complete decision of how you want to handle everything. And from that point forward, we talked about some of the other options that you may have with a property if you inherit it without a mortgage. Here they are. So, if you do inherit a house without a mortgage and you're trying to decide what to do, you really have three options. First option is to sell the property, and that obviously can be done a few different ways. You can do for sale by owner, In that situation, you're going to have to find the buyers, but you are going to save on commission. So there are pluses and minuses with that. You can sell with a realtor. The benefits there obviously are they have a huge buyer pool, and we'll obviously be able to get a lot of demand for the property potentially, depending on obviously the property and the current market. But you are going to have to pay commissions, and you're going to have showings and all that kind of stuff. Other option is that you can sell to someone like me at Mike Buys Houses. You can get an offer from us at MikeBuysHousesPA.com, or give us a call at 267-984-4765. And we buy houses one of two ways, either cash or terms. So we can pretty much help in any situation. And it really gives us a lot of flexibility to help homeowners in a way that really fits their specific situation. We can close quickly. You don't have to pay any commissions, and you don't have to worry about open houses and all that kind of stuff. The things to consider when you are considering selling a property: what kind of repairs does it need? Are you going to be able to do them yourselves? Are you going to sell at a discount because it needs a lot of repairs? Are you going to be able to afford to get those repairs done? What kind of level of repairs does it need? Those kind of things you're going to want to consider. Also, you're going to want to think about capital gains taxes. So the difference in the sales price versus the fair market value on the day that you inherited the property is the amount that you're going to pay in capital gains. And again, not a tax advisor here, but just something that we've picked up over the years, and you can definitely consult your local CPA in order to find out how much you're going to incur in taxes if you do sell the property. But basically, when you do sell an inherited property, even if it was bought for $50,000, the day you inherit it, if it's worth $150,000 and then you sell for $155,000, your capital gains is only that $5,000 difference between the day you inherited it and the amount it appreciated since then. So if there's been no appreciation or even depreciation since then you may not have any capital gains. And the faster timeline that you sell it on, obviously less chance of appreciation since the day that you inherited it, and therefore would have lower tax implications. Some other options that you have if you inherit the property is to move into it. You may be able to assume the mortgage by reaching out to the lender on the property and find out how you would go about that. Typically, you're able to keep the same terms and just continue making payments on the property. And lastly, you could rent the property out. You could maintain that monthly cash flow by being a landlord or doing the Airbnb model. But it can be a lot of work. We talk about the 3 T's. Tenants, trash, and toilets. That goes along with being a landlord. You're going to get those calls, but it's just a way to turn that property into monthly cash flow. But if you are interested in that monthly cash flow but don't want the headaches of the 3 T's, then reach out to me and find out what selling on terms means and how we're able to provide you that cash flow without any of the headaches, by making you the bank in the situation and upgrading you to the lender. So if that's something that you're interested in, feel free to give me a call at 267-984-4765 or visit us on MikeBuysHousesPA.com. We look forward to helping you.